Detailed look at sustainability and ethical fashion. Why? It's dominant. Sustainability is no longer a niche. It's a core expectation. Consumers, especially Gen Z and millennials, who account for over 50% of global fashion spending. Per a 2024 McKinsey report, prioritize brands with transparent, eco-friendly practices. The fashion industry, responsible for approximately 10% of global carbon emissions UNEP 2023. Faces pressure to reduce its environmental footprint amid climate concerns and regulatory changes, like the EU's 2024 Ecodesign for sustainable products regulation. This dominant trend has evolved into 6 interconnected sub-trends that are reshaping the fashion landscape. And today, we're going to explore each of them and the signals you're seeing on X key. 1. Circular fashion systems. Closed-loop recycling brands like H&M and Zara are investing in textile where old garments are broken down into fibers for new clothing. For example, H&M's Loop machine, now in select stores, recycles garments in front of customers, creating a transparent process. Upcycling. Designers like Marine Sayer and Kalina Strada transform dead stock fabrics and vintage pieces into hip fashion items. Upcycled denim jackets and patchwork dressers are popular, with X posts showing DIY creators replicating these looks. Resale and rental. The secondhand market is projected to grow to $77 billion by 2025. Platforms like Vinted and Poshmark thrive, while luxury rental services like HURR offer high-end pieces for temporary use. Ex-users frequently share tips on scoring vintage Chanel or Gucci at thrift stores. 2. Regenerative and innovative materials. Regenerative agriculture. Fibers like organic cotton, hemp, and linen grown through regenerative farming, which restores soil health, are gaining traction. Brands like Christy Dawn partner with farmers to produce carbon-neutral clothing, bio-based fabrics. Innovations like Milo mushroom leather and Pinatex pineapple leather are replacing traditional leather, reducing water and chemical use. Adidas and Stella McCartney have launched vegan sneakers using these materials. Lab-grown textiles. Startups like Spiber are creating spider silk proteins through fermentation, offering strong, biodegradable alternatives to synthetics. These are still niche, but hyped on X for their futuristic potential. 3. Transparency and traceability blockchain technology. Brands like Everlane and Veya use blockchain to trace supply chains, letting consumers verify the origin of materials. For instance, Vaga's sneakers come with QR codes linking to supplier details. Certifications! Labels like GOTS, Global Organic Textile Standard, and Fair Trade are now consumer markers of ethical production. Experts often call out brands lacking these certifications, reflecting growing scrutiny. 4. Anti-greenwashing consumers are wary of false sustainability claims. Regulations like the UK's 2024 Green Claims Code penalize misleading marketing, pushing brands to substantiate eco-friendly claims with data. Slow fashion movement. Timeless design brands like Kayana and Everlane promote fewer, better pieces, encouraging capsule wardrobes. Minimalist staples like trench coats and cashmere sweaters are trending for their longevity. Repair and Rewire Patagonia's worn wear program and Levi's repair workshops extend garment lifespans. Ex-users share tutorials on mending jeans or re-dyeing faded shirts, amplifying this ethos. Local production, small batch locally made clothing, reduces shipping emissions. Designers like Rachel Comey produce in New York's garment district, appealing to conscious consumers. These sub-trends signal a shift in the fashion industry from fast, disposable clothing to quality pieces made with eco-friendly materials and processes. Consumers are increasingly aware of the environmental and social impact of their choices and are demanding more transparency and accountability from brands. Cultural and consumer impact. Gen Z advocacy. On X, Gen Z users frequently critique fast fashion giants like Shine for labor violations and environmental harm, boosting hashtags like #SlowFashion and #ShopSecondhand. They favor brands with clear ethical commitments like Reformation, which publishes annual sustainability reports. Inclusivity in sustainability. Ethical fashion is expanding to include diverse sizing and cultural representation. Brands like Universal Standard offer inclusive sizes in sustainable fabrics, addressing past criticisms of eco-fashion's exclusivity. Economic shift. Sustainable fashion is a $10 billion market, growing at 15% annually. McKinsey, 2025. However, affordability remains a challenge. Sustainable pieces often cost 20 to 30% more than fast fashion, sparking debates about accessibility versus ethics. Technological integration. AI and data. AI optimizes supply chains, reducing waste. For example, Unspun's 3D weaving tech creates made-to-order jeans, minimizing AI also predicts trends, helping brands avoid excess inventory. Digital tools. Apps like Good On You rate brand sustainability, empowering consumers. Posts often reference these ratings when recommending or criticizing brands. Virtual try-ons. AR technology reduces returns, a major source of waste. By letting shoppers visualize fit, ASOS and Farfetch have integrated AR try-ons, enhancing the sustainable shopping experience. These cultural and economic shifts demonstrate that sustainability is no longer an afterthought, but a fundamental aspect of fashion. Consumers are driving this change by demanding more transparency, ethical practices, and environmentally friendly options from brands. As younger generations enter the workforce and gain purchasing power, the importance of sustainability will only continue to grow. Challenges and criticisms. Despite the progress, challenges and criticisms remain. Greenwashing? Some brands exaggerate. Users frequently call out H&M's conscious collection for vague claims, citing reports of minimal recycled content. Cost barrier. High prices exclude lower-income consumers, though rental platforms and thrift stores are bridging the gap. Scalability. Innovations like biofabrics are expensive and not yet mass-producible, limiting their impact. Discussions highlight excitement for these materials, but frustration at their rarity. These challenges underscore the need for continued innovation and collaboration between brands, consumers, and policymakers to make sustainable fashion more accessible and effective. Runway and street style influence. Runway. Designers like Gabriela Hearst and showcase regenerative wool and upcycled silk in 2025 collections, blending luxury with sustainability. Paris Fashion Week 2025 emphasized craft over quantity with hand-stitched details. Street style. Posts show influencers pairing thrifted blazers with organic cotton tees, proving sustainable fashion can be chic. The visible mending trend. Embroidered patches on worn clothes is a social media hit. The influence of runway and street style signals that sustainability is becoming a mainstream aesthetic rather than a niche look. Consumers are embracing creative ways to incorporate sustainable and vintage pieces into their wardrobes, blurring the lines between new and old. Real-time sentiment on Recent posts as of September 2nd, 2025 reflect enthusiasm for sustainable brands like with users praising their transparent sourcing. However, there's skepticism about fast fashion brands, with comments like Zara's sustainable line is just marketing check their labor practices. Hashtags like #ethical fashion and #sustainable style trend alongside DIY upcycling tutorials showing grassroots engagement. This real-time sentiment analysis demonstrates the evolving relationship between consumers and fashion brands. There's a clear appetite for more sustainable and ethical practices, but also a growing ability to call out greenwashing and demand better from brands. Future outlook! By 2030, the sustainable fashion market could reach $15 billion. Driven by stricter regulations and consumer demand. Innovations like scalable biofabrics and carbon-neutral production are expected to grow, though affordability remains key to mainstream adoption. Conversations suggest a growing movement toward degrowth and fashion prioritizing quality over endless consumption. As AI and data-driven tools become more sophisticated, they will further optimize supply chains and production processes, making fashion more sustainable and efficient. Continued dialogue and collaboration across the industry will be crucial to overcoming remaining challenges and realizing the full potential of sustainable fashion. If you'd like me to analyze specific posts for sentiment, focus on a particular sustainable brand, or explore another trend in depth, for example, Y2K or TC and Feast fashion, let me know in the comments.